Okay, Michael, you're live.
Hey, Sean. I've got a couple of different things I guess I could work on and get done, in fairly short order if I did. But I mean, I think one of my main things too is also a book, and it's like you were talking to me. I've rewritten the outline a few times, and I've written about 5 different introductions, and then I said, I don't like that. I got to do something better, and written some pages, some of it just from journaling and things like that, but just haven't really put it together. And I believe I could spend some time and get it done in in 2 or 3 months if I would just buckle down and do it.
How would it feel to have a print published book that you could have 100 copies in your trunk, and every single time you met somebody and they said, hey, what do you do besides the teaching? And, what are you doing? And, of course, I'm sure you talk to people about your dreams and your legacy, and you go to meetings sometimes and you have a business card. What if you could just hand a physical book out, no charge, and just sign it for people? What would that do for your dream if you could do that, Michael?
Well, I mean, that would be awesome. That would be incredible. I mean, that's would be one of my big life goals checked off, and as well as if people would actually read it, which I think some would, it would. I think it could be life changing for some of them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How about the credibility that you'd have if you had your published book featured on your website, and anybody that got to know you, any way they got to know you, whether it was from an interview or from a podcast or it was from a promotion that you did, or whether you paid for some traffic to get people to your website. But imagine if even just 10 people saw your credibility every single week and saw that you were a published author, and because of that, they were more willing to listen to what you taught. Could you change more lives if you had that book?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It was open a lot of doors.
Okay, so would it be worth doing whatever it takes to just get that book done?
Yeah, no doubt, absolutely.
I want to give you a suggestion that could shorten it from 2 to 3 months down to a few weeks. Would you like that?
Sure, shoot.
So you have to do this in steps. This is advanced, all right? This is like doctoral level right here. This is advanced. You can do this in stages. The first stage is to pull everything together that you've ever written for this, all your different introductions, all your different chapters, anything that you've ever, any of the journaling, you just pull it all together. It might take you a day to do it. You pull it all together, and then it's there. The next day that you work on it may not be the next day physically, it may be 2 days later. You're going to go somewhere alone. You won't need your telephone for this project, so leave your telephone somewhere that's not with you. All right? Mm-hmm. There's nobody in your life that can't deal with you not being around for 6 hours. And if you are caring for an aging parent, because I've done that before, then you just find somebody to sit with them for 6 hours. Okay? So you could make yourself totally obscure for 6 hours sometime in the next week. Right, Michael?
Yes.
Okay. So here's what you do. You take all those documents, and if they're all online and you have a trouble keeping track of 87 different documents online, print them all out. Print them all out so that they're just physically there, if that's what you need. That's what I need. I need them to be physically there because I can reshuffle things in print. I can reshuffle them, and then once it's all done, you go back and look online and find it all and copy and paste it all into one place. If that's whatever you need, I don't want to tell you how to do it. You know how you think best. Whatever it takes, take all of those pieces and lay them out and say, okay, this is what I have so far. And then I want you to say, what's it going to take to fill the gaps? What else do I need to write to complete this? Don't start all over again, Michael. If you start all over again, you're going to be in the same boat 6 months from now with another unfinished thing. Start with what you have. Start with what you have. Now, it doesn't make any difference if in 2 months, by the time you're done with this whole thing, you end up throwing away most of what you have. But start with it. Like if you start a new garden, you don't just totally dig everything up. You work with what you've got. If one of your kids is bad, you don't just incinerate them and then try to start over. No. You go in and you identify the good parts and you have a conversation and you say, these are the things we got to fix, and you fix them. It's the same thing with this book. You're going to take all the parts that you have, and then you're going to identify what are the parts that I don't have. And you're just going to write. You're going to say, I need a chapter on this, I need a chapter on this, I need a chapter on this, I need a chapter on this. And then all you got to do, let's say you need 7 chapters. All you got to do is have 7 sessions with no cell phone, go hide in the woods, whatever you have to do for 7 sessions to write the 7 chapters. And then once it's done, that's your next phase. Once it's done, you pull it all together and put it into one doc. And if you have to, find somebody to read it for you and tell you what order everything really should be in. Because sometimes when you're in the middle of the woods with something, you'll spend 2 years trying to make it perfect, and it's still not perfect because you can't see it because you wrote it. How does that process sound to you, Michael?
That sounds very doable.
So obviously, I want to tell you the obvious, and I'm going to tell you this because I've had clients come to me. It just breaks my heart when this happens. Because sometimes I'll give clients instructions that are pretty specific, like what I just did with you. And I'll talk with them 90 days later, and they'll say, well, I tried to do that, but it didn't work because that one tiny piece of instruction you gave me won't work for me. And so I just had a block, and I couldn't do anything. And it just hurts me because I'm like, all right, well, just don't do that one little part. And so when you're going through this, Michael, if you get to something and you're like, well, that doesn't work, I don't know how Sean does it that way. Don't do it that way. Do it a different way. The whole idea with me giving you, just like I was just talking with Mark, I may not have given him the exact plan that's going to work for him, but hopefully between what I talked about earlier and what I talked about with Mark and what I just talked about with you, Michael, when you're digging into this, you can just be innovative. Well, this way's not working. Sean's way's not working. Fine, do it a different way. The key is, it's acceleration. The key is acceleration. The key is doing things fast. It's not just fast, but doing things doing things efficiently, doing things productively, getting it done. If you'll do that, your life can change. So I just want to ask you again, Michael, what would it really mean for you? Give me 2, 3 reasons, 3 things. What would it really mean for you to have this published book 90 days from now that you could share with other people?
Well, first it would just be, to have accomplished it, to have done it, and I guess gain momentum and accomplish more. Second would be the impact and influence that it could have on others. And third, I think it's just an important step in my business or my ministry, my life purpose. So yeah, those 3.
Excellent. Michael, I want to encourage you. Go out there and make it happen. And I'd love to have a progress report right here on this call in a few weeks. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay, excellent.